this
I
notion
think
of
I could
tax.
kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
Yes, Tampon Tim, warrior poet, MMA champ, and part-time governor of Minnesota is going to kick your ass. I mean, sure, he barely coached a 9th grade football team, but now he's ready to throw hands with half the country because feelings. Careful, fellas, he's trained in emotional self-defense.
I'm not going to win them, but I don't believe that's a very large percentage of the population.
Right.
But why are they not trusting us? What's your take? I mean, what are you hearing when you hear this? Why are people not trusting the message we were delivering?
Gee, I don't know, Tim. Maybe it's because your message sounds like a word salad, soaked in self-pity and no dressing of actual substance. Or maybe it's because every time regular people say they're hurting, your solution is, go listen to a podcast. But hey, at least this time, you're not yelling at farmers during a town hall for daring to ask real questions. Or maybe it's because you were gloating over Tesla's stock crashing. You know, the company that employs over 140,000 Americans and helped spark a manufacturing boom. I guess you don't care that Minnesota's public pension system holds over 1.6 million shares of Tesla, funded by teachers' pensions, firefighters' retirement funds, and public workers' futures. But hey, you don't own any shares, so it's not your problem, right? Maybe people aren't buying your messaging because they're tired of your smug, disconnected, elitist bullshit. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because you're a stone-cold asshole.
I approach this always, Gavin, like a school teacher. I give a lesson, and then I do an assessment of that lesson, and half the students didn't do very well on it. Well, I don't assume that those half are terrible kids. I assume that they have a different learning style or they weren't hearing the way I was teaching it. Maybe these folks were, verbal learners. Maybe they were kinesthetic learners, whatever it might be. I think we have to approach the electorate like that we think we're telling them where we're at. But for whatever reason, you're right. And this pains me. I tried to make the case. Look, I'm a public school teacher, went to a public university. And according to the Wall Street Journal, I'm the poorest person who ever ran for vice president. That didn't matter to them. And so the idea here that we were trying to craft someone who, for whatever reason, there was a number of people that didn't register with. So I'm with everybody else. And again, when people ask me, I'm probably the last person you should ask for answers because I didn't get it done.
Oh, so that's the problem, Tim. It's not that your message is garbage. It's just that the voters are kinesthetic learners who didn't hear you right. Buddy, this isn't 10th grade social studies, and America isn't your failing classroom. You didn't teach a bad lesson. You ran a bad campaign, pushed worse policies, and talked down to the very people you needed to show up. And by the way, voters aren't confused students. They're adults. Adults who rejected you because they're sick of your smug, condescending lectures dressed up like empathy. The only lesson the electorate learned from you is that failure is rewarded with a podcast invite and a participation trophy. But hey, at least you reminded us you're the poorest guy to ever run for VP. Congratulations, Tim. You've finally figured out how to turn being broke into a political strategy. Maybe the real reason you lost is because no one wants to be educated by a guy who calls himself a teacher but governs like a substitute. You can dress it up however you want, but voters aren't buying your rebranded, focus-grouped, empathy-wrapped bullshit. All right, folks, that wraps it up. We've officially survived another dose of Tampon Tim's insecure rambling. If you feel dumber for having listened to it, you're not alone. If you liked watching his nonsense get dismantled with a blowtorch of truth and sarcasm, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who still thinks the Democrats have a message worth listening to. And hey, drop a comment below. I read every single one. As always, stay informed, stay free, and stay steadfast and loyal. I'm Jimmy Parker. Thanks for joining us.